Unique New York. Unique New York.
Unique New York. Unique New York. Hey, what's up, people of the world, collectors of music, whether it be CDs, cassettes, 8 tracks, vinyl. Hey, I'll let Blu-ray Atmos mixes into the club. I don't care.
Laser.
You got a thing, and if it's got like a little box with some paper that tells you more about it, then come into the club.
Bring it. Bring it. The door's open.
And look, and we're not streaming Nazis, okay? Streaming has its purpose. Streaming to me is kind of like the sampling. That's how you taste test stuff. You're like, do I want this?
That's a good.
Is this interesting? I hear this is interesting. I want to try it.
Right. Now I've heard probably 85% of it. What's the other 15% of it sound like?
Sure. Oh, and streaming also serves a purpose because, like, gosh darn, deluxe edition box sets that are beyond the reach of the common mortal.
Yes.
And
or space saving.
Space saving, yes. Sometimes it's just a matter of shelf.
Take up so much space.
Right. Oh, and look at this. I forgot to say, I wanted to start the show. I've been thinking about this forever.
Yeah.
Or all week. Forever or all week. Which one is it? I don't know.
Whatever comes first.
Get out your NyQuil. Get out your ponies. Get out your Robitussin. It's time to talk about Fugazi Red Medicine.
Oh, look at those boys.
Do you like it?
Look, they went to the beach, but they went upside down.
It's good to know the buoyancy of your favorite bands.
It's true. It's true.
Because, you worry about them because the road is a dangerous place. They get out there, they go over a lot of bridges. You want to know that your band is buoyant.
You need to know.
I am glad these guys are buoyant because this is a transformative release. This was Fugazi turning into a different kind of Fugazi.
Yes.
And am I over exaggerating that, or that's a legitimate transition that happened right here? I think. I mean, I would say maybe "In on the Kill Taker" is the moment which is the record just before this. I think that's the moment where you see a lot of it's like the genesis of what happens fully here. I think they were like, I think there's a lot of things about Ellen Kill Taker that are like top notch all the way. I think I have done an episode not unlike this before where I ranked my favorite Fugazi records, and that came out on top, but came out on top by like iotas over this one. But I think this is the moment where they come into everything that had been sort of hinted at before. Like, this is the moment where it's like, wait, I thought I was getting a Fugazi record, and I got this weird, like, what's going on between the songs? Is there a clarinet in there somewhere? What? Like, that's right.
Like, even last night listening to this, my 7-year-old is like, I was like, what do you think that noise is? Because he stops and he's like, looking at the stereo like a dog hearing a high-pitched whine. Like, he's like, what is that? And I go, what do you think that is? He goes, it's a keyboard. I was like, that is a clarinet. And he was like,
right.
What? Like, he could not believe it. He could not believe it. So, yeah, I think it's fair to say this is the break point with, like, the fulcrum, if you will, of the pivot to the new. Wow, how many geometric terms am I going to use in one sentence? To like the new Fugazi, like a new era that they stayed. I feel like they stayed in that lane for the rest of the time.
And so now that I dig it. So here's why I think it's a little transformative, and that's like you said, those little snippets. Because this recording is made up of a couple of things. There's like some practice sessions and some jam sessions at the Guilford House.
Yes.
In Connecticut.
Yep.
And that's what you hear right away when you put the disc on. You hear almost a full minute of some Guilford jams, and it sounds like
everything's melting. Everything's melting. It's just. I mean,
yes.
Pure raging destruction like you've never heard. Like it's pushing. You've heard the term brick walling, but this is beyond that.
Yeah.
This is a step above. It was just an amazing cacophony. And I tell you, I wish they would release all those practice sessions unedited. I would listen to them. I would deliciously.
In essence, they released a lot of them.
Is that what Instrument is?
Instrument is a good chunk of the tail end of this and the work up to End Hits, which is the record after this.
Right.
So like most of the songs that are new are like what came right after. But there's also footage from like them recording this record, which as a drummer I'll love to talk about later because there's some of my favorite moments ever are revolving around recording some of the songs on this. But it's like it's in there. I mean, there's pieces of it in there for sure. And then there's like all kind of weird like moments you see in Instrument as well, like the end of Birthday Pony, where they hit the feedback and they get into the like unison feedback, and then they do the funny yell like all that they show that moment, which is also kind of awesome because I don't think Fugazi was as much of a off the cuff improvisational band in the studio as it would sometimes seem. Like I think that they like had they're very pointed and like this is what we're going to do. Right. But I think there are moments, that show up like they do in most recording sessions where it's like, whoa, that was just magic. Like you got to keep that. I feel like that in feedback thing is like one of those where it's like we're feeding back and then suddenly like we know we've gotten to that unison at some other point before, but then when they get there you can see them all kind of like click and then like kind of mess with it some more and like just grinding out more stuff. But yeah, the beginning of this record, to get back on topic, tangent time.
It's an exciting record.
It's great, and I'm so glad that you brought this up. I'm so glad that it has an anniversary now, because like I had like loved it for so long, and then I kind of put it a little further back in my memory because, like our last record, PJ Harvey's "Rid of Me," I listened to it so much. It's like you just know it by heart. Like I know how many times it cycles through the little thing in the beginning of "Do You Like Me" before it starts. Like I know, I'm like, here it comes. Like I get like a little kid every time because it does. It's so blown out in that intro, and that's so different from every other Fugazi record up to this moment. Like. Yeah, everything else, like there might have been a fade in. There might have been, I think "Steady Dive Nothing" had a big fade in.
And that one, which was notoriously dry.
Yeah,
and
it's probably my least favorite because it is produced that way. Like,
it's an acquired taste.
Yeah,
it's
like, and then I'll go back and listen to it. I'm like, these songs are so good. But then also having seen them play a host of those songs, as we both have live, you're like, oh, man, if they sounded like that, wow. Like,
right.
But I know people who, they're like, that was my first Fugazi record, and it's my favorite, and, prove me wrong kind of thing. But but I think the beauty
it's one of those production things, It's you just gotta like if you can digest the production and see the songs or feel the songs through that, it's a good one for you.
Yeah, I think that beginning of "Do You Like Me" is amazing for multiple reasons because it's so blown out and so crazy, and then when they come in, they don't come in like Fugazi. They come in like somebody else has taken. It's like pod Fugazi. Like there is no distortion on any guitar when they come in. It's all clean.
Right.
It stays.
It's a big shift, like a minute in.
Right, and it stays clean. Like Do You Like Me is like clean for like the first 3/4 of the song. Like all the guitars are clean, and it's very like it's arresting because you're used to hearing them. I mean, the record before this, In on the Kill Taker, again starts with was it Facet Squared? That is like one of the most probably one of the most brutal opening songs that they ever put on a record. Like it's just like when it comes in, it's like a punch right to the nose. Like, listen to me, I'm talking to you. This is like I'm kind of getting under your skin a little bit. Like it has a feeling that is unlike other Fugazi records from the jump. Right. I'll stop now.
So your copy, I saw you had the vinyl. What is that? Is that did you pick that up?
This is a newer. Where's that from? Discord has gone through and started reissuing pretty much their entire catalog and doing them on like colored pressings. And I have all these also on CD, as one does. Yeah. I had strayed from like vinyling them until they did the color thing. I was like, but they're so pretty.
So delicious. So beautiful.
And I know I've had talks with friends who are like, really, they did a red vinyl for Red Medicine? I'm like, yeah, of course they did. Like, why not? Also, it's transparent, so it's just always going to get me. And then
sound good because folks are always like colored vinyl, hit or miss. So what's your verdict on?
They remastered all of these. I think they remastered all these. Yeah, 2008 was when they remastered these originally for vinyl again, and I think it's the same set of masters. It sounds great.
I've got a colored margin walker. I think it's green, and it sounds really good. Yeah. No complaints whatsoever.
I think they're getting their stuff pressed at Furnace, which is right there in Virginia, now owned by Metallica.
Oh, very cool.
There you go. Or at least majority owned, I guess. Yeah, they've got a pressing plant very close. So it's also like, yeah, I mean, the quality is very good. It's
all about quality control.
Yeah, I haven't gotten one that's like from them that's wacky yet. So, yeah, all good.
So mine is original era CD.
I also have
I've never had to well, I do need to upgrade. Because I have a skip on Bayou.
Oh!
And then there's also a skip on Down City. The skip on Down City has been there since the late 90s. So every time I hear that on streaming, I'm like, is this a new track? I'm like, no, I never heard it on my CD.
Right. But the thing I do miss is the layout. I'm sure you're probably about to say yes. So that doesn't happen vinyl. Vinyl is just big guy, but it doesn't do that, which is awesome.
Yeah. Great lyrics. The Jason Farrell did the artwork insert on this.
Yep.
I believe graphic design anyway, but it's really cool packaging and awesome visual storytelling. Because this, without a whole lot of text or explanation, you get a sense of this is life on the road. Really, life on the road.
Yes.
There's Guy. He's got dust on him. He just went through the rafters somewhere, probably. He just like rocketed through the ceiling somewhere, and he's exhausted. And then bubblegum.
Yep.
You want to know what touring is like, kids?
Look at that. Look at that.
These are the bathrooms and venues of America. There's again, tired.
That's a picture of Ian. That picture of Ian there, head and hands, is at inner ear.
Oh, okay. So that's where the produced part of the album came from.
Yes, that's it. That's in the corner.
So it's a mix of the Guilford jams. We've got a mix of the Guilford jams and then like the produced stuff at inner ear, and that's what's going down right there. And then on the back, some more, probably inner ear.
Pretty sure that's inner ear as well. And then that's
some travel
in the van.
In the van, on the road. What's up with that bike? That bike looks like it hurts. There's no seat.
Yeah, I
don't want to do that. But look, there's Brendan's bell.
Yep.
This is literally like Pavlov's bell to me. Every time I hear it, I'm filled with like this immense joy. I'm not fucking with you, man.
Ding!
Even when I saw the Aesthetics, the Brendan and Joe's new thing in Madison last year, and goddamn, he hits that bell. It just like gets me.
Yeah.
And then and there's Joe himself.
Joe.
Love him.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. This record, you and I saw them 2 nights in a row. Did we both go both nights? We did, right?
I did. I saw them 2 nights in '93 at the Masquerade, and then 2 nights in '96 at the Masquerade.
Yep. And it was
and the first night, it was one of those like, this set list is designed for you two guys because they started with Merchandise, which our band had loosely covered twice.
Yeah.
And then right into the opening track, Do You Like Me, and like all the stuff that we wanted to hear.
Yeah, it was.
Did that one end?
Yeah.
Maybe it ended with Forensic Scene, or it was a wild show.
It was wild, and I remember. We'll get back to the record in a minute, kids. I promise. I remember distinctly. We hung out after, I think, second night, and because I think we decided kind of late to even go to the second night. Like we were like, went to the first, and we're like, should we? Yeah, we should. So then we went, and we're blown away. I feel like even more the second night, and now because of the Fugazi Live archive, I remember when I downloaded those shows, I was like proven right that my memory was right, that like the first night was ridiculous, but the second night was like that much better.
Right.
And I remember we hung out and talked. I had somewhere for a long time my Ian Mackay inscribed ticket, and we actually talked to Brendan. I talked to Brendan for a little bit, and even he was like, yeah, all the shows aren't like this one. Like this was a goodie. And I was like, I feel like it's such a like candid thing to say to like a 20-year-old. I was probably 19.
Right.
Like,
right.
20-year-old kid who's like, hey, that was fucking amazing, and you're my favorite band, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, yeah, thanks. That was great. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. They're not always like that. Like, that was a really good one. And you're like, like, it was, which is just such a great thing to say. Like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like, I play in this band, and it's no big deal. And also, they're not all 100%. But yeah, all that is to say, they were actually very funny dudes. Like,
yeah,
very funny. Like, I know part of that from experience, like from being up there and playing in Blue Tip, whatever. Like, and meeting like Ian and like expecting and being like a kid, like, oh, I know I've met you before, but this is gonna be weird, and him just being like, calm down, and like practical jokes on everybody, like all the time. Like everybody had a story about some practical joke he pulled on them. Like he's just always just like, nah. Which leads.
So that's great. You know, like the premise of our show is we pick an album and then we listen to the living shit out of it every day as much as we can.
Right.
You know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times, and then we convene to talk about it, to see, and then kind of at the well, what did you learn today, kids? Like you hope that through the repetitive listening and the digging into it, and also researching it through other videos and online sources and whatever, books, whatever you got,
right,
that you might learn something new. So, and what I learned was the fun.
Yes.
And that is, and also that this is the album where Fugazi became the world's greatest secret jam band. but on a microscopic level. I mean, and even when we saw them at those shows in Atlanta, they had these little interludes, and you could just tell that this required like some serious listening on stage. Like the whole band had to be tuned in, because there'd be like a little, interlude that would take you from this song to that song, and each guy would have to be tuned in,
and
just in case the other guy because the other thing is they weren't working with set lists either.
Go.
That was the other thing that was a lot looser than the average hardcore punk, indie whatever band.
Right.
But my goodness, that really got me. I'm like, oh, so you can take these concepts from the jazz guys,
right,
of like throwing away your set list and just making it all about communication on stage.
Right.
I dig that. And the other thing about jams, and maybe people who aren't aware of this, is sometimes that's how songs are created. You go into a room with just friends, nobody's brought in a song. You're just like, let's jam. So then somebody starts making a funny noise, and then one guy reacts, and then another guy reacts.
Yeah.
And then you go through this churning, and then there's could be like 20 minutes of garbage, and then you can maybe filter that down to a 1 minute idea.
Right. And from that 1 minute, you get a whole song later because you piece it off of it.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what I learned from this. Like I could hear the fun, and I could hear that them like stretching out and kind of taking off the shackles of band. Just let's create together.
Yeah.
That's an interesting new turn for a hardcore band. Or
I mean, I think I remember even hearing they were about probably I guess probably late in the In on the Kill Taker cycle, people were talking about Fugazi's jamming now, and it was like, what is that? What would that even look like? What do you what? And I remember people being like, now these are, when I say people, I mean these are high schoolers. We didn't know, but everybody was like, "Ooh, Fugazi is jamming now." It was oh my gosh.
Fugazi stuff some paint thinner behind the shed.
What is that? What does that actually, what? What would that mean?
Yeah, what does that actually look like?
What does that mean in that? Because I knew what that meant in our common vernacular. It was suddenly they'd become fish. And it was right, blues forms.
I
don't think that's what we're talking about, right? Or are they just standing there doing feedback for 10 minutes between each song? What is happening?
Right, and that's the other flavor of jams, because the Sonic Youth style.
Right, and so then you're trying to piece together in your head what it might mean, and then when I saw them, it was oh, got it. These are ways.
Yeah.
This is the way that you work this without a set list. You have cues and it's things that have been worked out. It's kind of the idea that you just mentioned about getting in a room without an idea and making a song. Sometimes on stage, somebody plays too long, or somebody doesn't stop where they're supposed to, or maybe where the song stops, but everybody just kind of keeps letting it ring out, or the drummer just keeps going, and then it becomes this thing, and then suddenly you realize, oh, we can connect this other song to this, and so now every time you come to the end of that, maybe that's the jumping off point to that same song, or the other song that might fit into that mold would be this, and so now I'm gonna give you a nod ada, and we're off. Yep. Which is another thing I remember of watching them play, and you can kind of see it in an instrument, is like a lot of visual, them listening to each other, and also just being kind of one mind of little nods and little cues that probably nobody else in the world would catch but them, because they had been playing together for so long at that point. But it's just it's kind of magical when you watch it happen, and when it actually clicks in. You kind of don't even need those when that happens, when the magic starts really kicking, which I'm sure they loved. All musicians love it when that happens, when you've been playing together long enough that you can just kind of not talk about it.
Yeah. But it's absolutely thrilling, and just the energy of. And the apprehension of we're gonna make it. What's the next thing
could fall off?
I don't know. but I mean the difference between good improv and bad improv, in my opinion, is listening.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right.
That's what separates the blues hammers from the fucking the Coltrane's.
Right.
That's what's it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Because you're
so
if you're just worried about what you're playing, you're not really improv.
right. Improv is a conversation between the whole band. That's the great thing, and that's what Fugazi delivered. You know, my God, if they had played 4 shows at the Masquerade, I would have gone.
Every night I would have been like, yep.
Yeah, I mean, just gosh darn it, it's so exciting because I mean, just last week I saw that a lot of the stuff that's been available on the Discord site, the live Fugazi series, is all coming to regular streaming platforms.
Yeah. Which is,
or at least a couple of them have.
Yeah, they put the first. I think they put the first and last show up first.
Oh, that's good bookings.
Which is nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Gotta check it out.
Yeah.
So let's just shake down through a few tracks because you know I was trying to make some of those like highlights. All of them.
First song, yes. Second song, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, just researching my guy, the bass department, Joe Lally played a white Fender jazz bass, and it was actually stolen.
Oh, really?
He only used it during this era, this Red Medicine tour. Never used again after 1996.
So sad.
According to her, yeah. It says it's not around.
That sucks.
Something like that. But okay.
Don't steal, kids. Don't steal.
Don't steal. Just say no.
Right.
So yeah. So what would you say are your highlights?
Highlights, man. Okay, so really a big fan of every song. I really do enjoy Birthday Pony.
Yes.
I really enjoy. Oh God, it's so hard. I really like Joe's song "By You." I really like that.
Excellent. And that was his first songwriter contribution, wasn't it?
I think he had one of the instrumentals, like Joe.
He had an instrumental, Joe number one.
Right. But yeah, I think that's the first time we heard him, like, really heard him sing, like, if I recall.
Yep.
And then I really love, man, it's so hard. Long Distance Runner, I think is probably the best, like, Ian, like, I call them Ian declarative songs.
Yes.
Like, I have a point I'm going to make, and you're going to listen to every second of it. And I'm going to sing it with the most conviction any human being has ever put down on tape ever. And you're gonna have to suffer if you don't like it. I don't care. Listen. Which I'm like, okay, Dad, it's fine. But
no, that's that one. I'm glad that's, you know what, and mission accomplished, because that one is like my self-help song.
Yeah.
Like anytime I'm feeling like I don't know if I can do life. Life is just too fucking much. I like listen to that and I'm like fucking long distance.
Yeah.
I'm in for the long distance.
But I really can't pick a favorite. None of these are like the favorites of anything else, because Fell Destroyed is ridiculous and amazing and creepy and like makes you feel like everything is it. I don't know. There's like a sense of dread, which I think is kind of inside the lyrics. I know we talked about them being funny people, and they are. And there are some like, I think there are like many inside jokes in a lot of these lyrics that like the normal outsider outside of the Fugazi bubble don't get. But I also think there is an intentional like kind of creepiness to the whole thing. Like Birthday Pony is like probably the greatest song about trying to split between being on the road and being at home that's ever been written. But the image of a birthday pony is in and of itself kind of funny. And it starts with him like laughing into like that, like, or Mike, like, and then he laughs for real in the song, and you're like, but it's like a maniacal sort of laugh, like you're like, oh yeah, okay.
Right.
Like things are not okay. And then kind of the same thing, like, you know, Bed for the Scraping, like just the title Bed for the Scraping is like, ugh, don't scrape my bed, please. Like, don't do it. Like, and if you have a bed that needs scraping, I just get a new bed. Just
Yes.
probably just want to get a new bed. But yeah, long distance runner, I feel like is the number one. Like that is there are a lot of great just Ian declarative moments, and that is possible. That and the argument are both like probably a distillation of that sort of ethos of like, here is my song about a thing, and I'm gonna lay it out, and here it is, and listen.